Hello, welcome. I brought these little, I brought these little rice cakes. These are going to be our tea time snack today. These are like that really soft, doughy rice, and in the middle are the red beans, sweet red beans, and so they go great with some green tea. So let me put those in the refrigerator. There we go. And let's just relax for a second in the lounge. Spin the chair around here. You know, I have to occasionally. For those of you who have the Promaster, I don't know if you also have to do this or if you're getting a Promaster. But I don't know if you can see this on my chair. See this? This is where the seat belt, it's attached to the chair and the seat belt comes out of it. This little black piece, if your chair isn't adjusted right, then when you spin it around, that little black rubs right along here. It's like an eraser. And it starts leaving a black mark. And so, being as fastidious as I am, I have to take a sponge, you know, the rough side of a sponge, and I get up in there and I erase it basically, so it looks all nice and pristine. But I don't know if you're like that, but it bothers me because the first thing when I come in, I just see this black streak going across there. In any case, it's all done now. Yes, so what do we have planned today? Well, it's the big day. Jilleo is launching his skincare company, Regions. That's Rejins. And his website, I'll put all the links and things in the description. It's regionswellness.com. In any case, he's launching his company, and he's doing a big event at the Filipino consulate in San Francisco. So it's kind of an exclusive event. They've invited just a handful of Filipino entrepreneurs, and he's one of them. And so he's going to be there. So I thought what would be cool is if we could take the van in to the city and kind of make it our home base while he's at this makers fair at the Filipino consulate. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I thought it might be nice because it's a 3-day event. He's going to have a table set up there. It's going to be all day. And so I thought, well, it might be a nice way, a nice respite, a nice place to go back to, kind of the van, take a little break. If one or both of us want to take a little break, we can go back to the van. So that's the thinking. The challenge, of course, is that it's San Francisco. So that's what we're going to do this afternoon, is head into the city, not staying. Just going to go drive past the consulate, kind of look at the area. I have a feeling it's right downtown, and I have a feeling there's going to be no parking right directly around the consulate. So I have researched some other parking lots in the city that are close to rail lines, light rail lines, or the subway, where we can get to the consulate pretty easily and quickly. And those are all along the waterfront, along the Embarcadero. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to actually go spend the day and watch Jilleo launch his product. So, and then I want to show you his product as well. I've been using it for the last month. I don't know if you can tell. I think my skin looks brighter and more even, and the wrinkles and stuff are fading. So I do want to show you the product. Also, I am planning a big webinar. First ever webinar. It's going to be hosted on my community, ultramobility.co. So if you're interested in this webinar, it's all about the Panoramic. It's the first of many webinars that we're going to do. But this first one's going to be about the Panoramic. We have a special guest who is going to be Phil Marcotte, who is the CEO of Panoramic. He's going to be there. We're going to talk. We're going to answer your questions. everything in depth about the Panoramic. What are their current plans? What's the wait list? What are some of the new future projects and things that they're working on that are exciting? Anything and everything Panoramic that you have questions about, it's going to be happening in that webinar. Check it out. Join ultramobility.co. Right now, the webinar is scheduled for May 21st. That's Sunday. All you're going to have to do is just go to the community, and when it starts, you'll get an email. You just follow the link, and it's as easy as that. Okay, let us start our adventure. We're going to head into San Francisco. So I've got a couple places in mind. I want to drive to them, and then if there's a parking attendant, I want to chat with them and just see if they're open to me parking there, you know, overnighting. All right, let's do it. So our first stop is going to be along the waterfront. So to the right, that's the Embarcadero heading toward Fisherman's Wharf. We're on the Bay Bridge. And then to the left of us is the Embarcadero heading toward the stadium. So this is one of my pro tips for you. So if you're going into a big city in your RV, first of all, don't be afraid to take your RV in, especially like a van like this. Like it's basically a car. But I highly recommend that you do an expeditionary trip, just to go in, get a feel for how RV friendly the city is, roads, safety, parking, overnight parking, boondocking, just those types of things. Kind of make a mental note. And like I'm very familiar with San Francisco because I lived here for many years, and I can tell you where we're going to. These are all, you know, outside of the city center, and so it's a little more open, less congested. Well, less congested for San Francisco, and typically you'll find a little bit more parking and a little easier to find parking. But the question is, how safe is it? The question is, do we see broken glass? Do they allow overnight parking? All those things I'm going to be looking for. We'll see. Even a former resident like me, I don't know. Just give you some idea of driving a van through congested, dense city like San Francisco. I mean, it's not bad. I had to cut some people off there getting off the bridge because they were gridlocking the intersection. But when you're in a big RV and just kind of continue to nose your way in, they kind of let you in. Especially if they're in a fancy car. Alright, now we're taking a turn toward the east and we're heading toward the water. So you can already see it's just that turn, it's already less congestion. So like here, you can see these are parking. We'd fit in any one of these parking spaces on the right. The problem is we're so close to downtown that, and I would never park here, but we're so close to downtown that these are pretty much always going to be taken. Except, I'll tell you, after 5 o'clock, because I lived just a block from here, I lived right in downtown in the financial district. And boy, this area is a ghost town after 5 o'clock, or at least it used to be. It's probably a ghost town now all during the day because of the pandemic. I just gutted downtown San Francisco. But that's the other thing, like financial districts and downtown areas like that, they tend to really clear out after 5 o'clock, and so you can find, if it's available, like if there's no signs. That's the thing you have to look for, or any like this, no park obviously anytime. Yeah, the other thing that I don't like about parking, like especially right on busy streets like the one that we're on, is I've had my car, well, several times. I've had my van hit, I've had a mirror ripped off, and I've had in my regular car, I've had it, the side and the front completely smashed in, just because I was parked I was still like 2 spaces from a turn, But you know, the city's so crowded, people are in such a rush that they're cutting in, and they just smashed into the side of my car and just went around the turn and just did a bunch of damage to it. So I don't like to park the RV like on really busy streets, narrow busy streets. It seems obvious, but I try to avoid it. Okay, this is the Embarcadero. That's the Bay Bridge that we were just on. We got off, and we're going to head south here. To the left takes us toward the ferry building and Fisherman's Wharf and all that. And it gets more crowded. You can see the traffic already backing up on that side. But going this way, it should start to get less crowded as we go this way. So, already looking on the right, it says no parking 12 to 6. That means no overnight parking here. You could park during the day. And these wouldn't be bad because we've got the green bike lane separating us. I'd be less concerned about someone taking a mirror off or something like that over here. As you can see, we're still close enough. Well, there's a space right there, and I could actually parallel park that in that space. So that's good to know. In the middle of the day, knowing and seeing that there's an open space, that's really good news, and I could get in there. That would be kind of ideal because see on the left is the rail line, Muni, and so I could take that directly to the Filipino consulate and walk pretty easily from one of the stops. So I'm liking what I'm seeing down here. The light rail line goes all the way down the length of Embarcadero. So anywhere I park here, I can hop on that and get easily to where I need to get to. Okay, left, it says Red's Java House. That's the big one I'm thinking about. That has like 1,000 spaces for cars. Now that used to be, during the pandemic, that was all closed off. That was San Francisco drive-through vaccination site. So I just saw a car pull in there. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see if I can pull in there. And there's cars parked in there. Okay. Alright, that's the one I'm thinking of. Look at all this here on the right though. There's a self-driving car. All this is open here on the right. And I don't see any signs that say no overnight. Okay, there's no overnight. There it is. So on the right, there's an RV there. We have lots and lots of choice here just for day parking. You can probably park here all during the day. Not a problem. Look at this, all this on the right. This is great. This is great just for the day. I love it. But we're getting close to the stadium. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Okay, I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna look at that parking spot. I actually prefer this side of the Embarcadero, the south side, heading toward the stadium, because there's a lot less glass on the street. In fact, I haven't seen any. And there's just a lot less foot traffic, because that way is Fisherman's Wharf and the Exploratorium and Chinatown, and all the big tourist attractions are that way on the Embarcadero north. And so you know, you're not that much further away from downtown. You got your light rail line right here. It's perfect. And so if I were coming to San Francisco and I needed a spot just for the day, this is the area I would come to. You're going to pull into one of those spaces. You're not even going to need to parallel park. You're just going to pull right in. They've got the pay by phone, so as you're out and about in the city, you can just extend your time. There's a bike lane that's separating you from the main street, so there's less chance of someone sideswiping you. There's a lot less traffic down here. There's a lot less foot traffic down here. And so this is great for just all day parking. If you just want to see the city, this is great. There's already some cars in there. There's a lot of empty space, which is fantastic, as you see on the right there. There's even some street parking here, you know. All right, okay, let's go in there. I don't know, what do all the signs say? Pay here. Oh, I cannot even get in. All right, no bueno. Look at that. That's good. That's why we check this out. It says maximum clearance, 8 feet, 2 inches. So we're not going to fit in that. All right, we got to turn around here. Okay, so that's why we checked this out. The maximum space there was 8 feet. We're 9 feet 4 inches. Know the height of your rig. We're 9 feet 4 inches. So we are not going to be able to park there. All right, I'm going to go up here. There's a parking lot here, directly in front of me. That's interesting. That's interesting. Hold on. We're just going to pull over here. Okay. So we're just pulled on one of those many spaces that we just passed on Embarcadero. And this will be fine for the day. I'm going to put our our code in, pay by license plate. That's fine. And then right here, I'll show you. So right out to our right is an open air, just a regular parking lot. And so I'm going to walk over there since we're here. And I'm going to check it out and see what the, see what it looks like. Okay, so let me do that. And then you know what? I'm just going to pay, I think, I'm right on the water. It's kind of pretty. And I'm going to brake fast while I'm here. So, yeah. And then we'll head the other way on Embarcadero toward Fisherman's Wharf. I'll show you that. We'll take a look around. And then I'm going to drive past the consulate, the Filipino consulate, because I want to get a sense of what just the parking situation looks like around there, but also how far away is it from where we're at. And then the third possibility is the marina. Now the marina, it's a little bit further away. The public transportation is not as good from the marina, so to get to the consulate, so I might have to Uber from there. But anyways, we'll check that out. Okay. Okay, that's where we're parked. Bay behind the van. No one yet in front of us or behind us. And let's come over here and look at what all the rules are and things like that. So it's not bad, but it says no overnight or oversized vehicles. So no overnight. I don't think we would be considered a oversized vehicle. It's $20, which isn't bad. Okay, so we're on a side street here. That's the Bay Bridge. And this doesn't allow you on Tuesdays to park from 12 to 6 overnight. But other than that, there's no other sign that says you can't park along here overnight. And that may be because these are residential buildings along here, so they're allowing people to park overnight. Also, this is also a residential building here, and it's the same sign over there, except it's Thursday. So, I might have to come back here and try it. Across the street there it says no parking anytime, but yeah, this might be okay. Yeah, this might be okay. It'd be noisy because you're right under the bridge there, but fairly convenient. That's downtown. We're looking toward downtown, so fairly convenient to get to downtown. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a guidebook, starting with San Francisco. But of all the places I'm going to, I'm gonna do a guidebook that covers stuff like this, like where can you park, where is it safe, what streets, what times, day parking, overnight parking, safety, all that stuff. We're just doing leftovers today. These lavender, or whatever they are, at this point they're dried out, so we're just gonna set these here though. Okay, yeah, I did a nice pork meatloaf. Want to see it? Just gonna heat it up in the microwave. It's not a lot, but look at that. That's what we're doing today. So stick that in there. Put one of these on the top because it will splatter everywhere. Oops. And I took the little tray out because it rattles while we're driving. There we go. Woohoo! Yay for lithium batteries. Okay. Come join me in the lounge. Yeah, so we learned a couple things. Good things. Check off the list that we found a place that we can park, the food stand, at least during the day. So that's half the equation. And then the other half of the equation is overnight. And the question becomes, you know, do we want to actually stay in the city overnight or not? And I haven't made that determination yet because I don't have enough options. That option across the street, X'd out because we can't fit in there. The height, they have a height restriction in a bar. This option behind you doesn't allow overnight. There might be another space, parking lot down there, that does allow overnight closer to the stadium. But as we go down this way, we're getting further and further away from the Filipino consulate. And then we'll check this side going north, but there's disadvantages there with the amount of foot traffic and street traffic and maybe broken glass and stuff like that. And there may not be overnight parking, but we'll check. Let me get the food really fast. Just needs a minute or so more. So that's why we do these things. And then we'll drive by the Filipino consulate. There's not going to be any parking around there. None. There's garages, but we won't fit in any of their garages. But we'll do it anyway. And then there's the marina. So we'll maybe see how the marina looks. I don't think the marina is going to work out though, because it's got all the disadvantages. It's very crowded down there because it's very pretty, but it's a lot of tourists. It's very crowded, and there's no good public transportation from there. So I don't know if it has any redeeming qualities for, at least for what I'm looking for, which is to be able to get downtown. All right, I'm gonna eat my lunch, and then we're gonna head up north on the Embarcadero and continue our scouting, looking for parking. It doesn't matter where we are. I always try to make time for tea with you. There's just something about it for me that it's like, even though it's a busy day, there's something about just taking a break from it all, stopping in this beautiful location that we're at, and just having a nice cup of tea. So that is what we are doing. And this is, again, that espresso maple tea, and we get the added benefit that it just makes the whole RV smell mapley and espresso-y. I actually busted out the little steam oven that we have. It's right beside you on the counter, and I brought a homemade croissant, one of those chocolate croissants, but I want it heated up. It's been in the refrigerator, so I want it heated up, and I want it a little bit crispy. So I figured, hey, we're in the van, and we have all these modern conveniences. Let's use it. So that's going to be my little tea break today with a chocolate croissant. I gotta say, having these little modern conveniences right at your fingertips all the time, like this little toaster oven, just to heat the croissant, the chocolate croissant, just to make it a little bit more fresh and lovely. Oh, there's nothing better. And funny enough, that little toaster oven that I have, it actually has a setting on it for croissants. So, you just hit that button, stick it in there, and in a couple minutes, it's just perfectly warmed up. It's not burnt or anything. Here's to you. I hope you're having a great Sunday, a great day. Oh, that's nice. I have the Chobani vanilla flavored, just a little bit sweetened flavoring in there. And then it just gives that maple espresso just a hint of sweetness. It's lovely. Mm. See how it's crunchy? It's flaky. So much better. So much better than it was cold and soggy. Looks like the weather is starting to clear. It's going to clear up for us. So it's been raining the last couple days, but I can see out the window. I don't know if you can see the clouds, but they're starting to break up, which means that the high pressure warm area is coming in. That's going to be beautiful. We might have to come back here when it is, because to park on the Embarcadero here and look out on the bay like that when it's just a bright blue sky and sunny and warm, have the sunroof above you popped open, nothing better. Okay, I'm going to wrap up here, enjoy my little cup of tea, then we're going to head out and head toward Fisherman's Wharf. That was a lovely break, a lovely lunch break and tea break here in San Francisco on the water, Embarcadero. Now it's time to continue on with our scouting expedition. So come join me. We're going to turn around and head the other way. So we're going to be heading north on Embarcadero. So we had great coverage here. I think this is great for day. If you come to the city for the day, and you just want to park your van in what seems to be a fairly safe area, convenient because of the rail lines. This area right here in the Embarcadero, south of the ferry building, all the way down to the stadium, looks like it's good. Here we go. Here's some parking here. Okay. I don't see any glass. Oh, look at all this parking to the right. Okay, I don't think it's overnight. Well, it doesn't say. Oh yeah, every day 12 to 6. No parking along here. Every day 12 to 6. All right. Okay, so you're getting a feel for what I do when I come into a big city, to scope it out. This is, and it's fine. It's kind of a little bit touristy, you kind of get sights and all that, but you are really doing work. You're looking and trying to figure out, to plan where your base camp's going to be. So this one to the left, we'll drive around to it right over here, but this one here, I would be surprised if they offered any overnight parking. We'll see. Oh, there's an RV in there. Huh. I saw an RV in this parking lot to the right. This is Broadway, so this is taking us toward Chinatown and all that stuff. But let me see if I can just, there's a space there I could parallel park in. I want to go around here really fast and see. All right, so that's a sign. It does say that there's evening rates after 5 p.m. 7 days a week. It's $35 for the whole day. I see an RV right behind that sign. So this very well could be a place that you could park overnight. In by 9, out by 6 p.m. That's $22. All right, let me see further. Okay, I took a picture of the phone numbers for the office. I'm going to call them a little bit later and see what the deal is for parking overnight, because this could be a good, I don't know, it could be a good possibility. We'll see. All right, next we are going to go toward downtown and the Filipino consulate. So let's check out that area. All right, we're heading right into the thick of downtown in our van. Oh yeah, a lot of activity here. And the consulate's up here on the left. See the Filipino flags? Oh yeah. Okay. So we got trucks double parked, yellow curbs, white curbs, red curbs everywhere. And yeah, oh man, it would be great if we could find a parking space right out front here tonight, but I don't think that's in the cards. Yeah, okay. Okay, so you saw the consulate. It's right to the left of us. Cars to the left, cars to the right, red zone, yellow zone, white zone, no parking signs. So I think we got the information that we need. I want to get out of the city before it gets too much later because I'm going to hit a lot of traffic. So let's start heading out of the city, and then I'll figure out. I'm going to call that parking garage and see if we can park there overnight. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So here's the deal with that parking lot. The gentleman that I spoke to said he doesn't recommend parking anywhere in San Francisco overnight because there's just break-ins are likely to happen. He said that would be the case here too. I said, well, if I park there at my own risk, would that be possible? And he didn't seem to say, emphatically no, but he did say, if the ticket that you get will have the time on it of, when it's valid. And so I haven't seen the ticket, so I don't know. But he said, beyond that time, you're liable to be, get a citation. So I think what I want to do is later, I want to drive by that lot later at night. And I want to see if there's anyone parked there. Like after, because he said at midnight, basically, it goes till midnight. So I'd want to drive by past midnight, see if there's any cars there. And see, because it sure is a great location, such a great location. And I'm wondering if, we're inside the van, I don't know, people, if we keep a light on or something and they know we're inside the van, maybe they won't try to break into it or something. Bunch of what ifs. Anyways, we have the information now, so we know. So that's a possibility. And that was our last possibility, actually, other than the side streets that we saw there, that were not the parking lot. They were just regular parking spaces there. I didn't see any broken glass there. So, my thinking is, if you're willing to park in the parking lot overnight, then maybe I should be willing to park on the street overnight, where that residential area is. Okay, well, we'll see what we're going to end up doing. The time is drawing near, so I'm sure we'll find a solution. But the Makers Faire is upon us. So one way or the other, we're going to be staying someplace. And we'll find out where. I don't know if you can tell, but we're not in the city. So as it turns out, I looked and looked and looked, and at the end of the day, this sometimes happens, I decided not to stay in San Francisco during Jilleo's Filipino event. I tried to make it happen, you saw, but sometimes you have to make these decisions. I couldn't find a place that met all of my requirements. So I wanted to be someplace that was close enough to the Filipino consulate, and that in itself presented the biggest challenge because the Filipino consulate is right in the middle of downtown. It's right in Union Square. You can't get any more crowded in San Francisco than Union Square. So there are no parking places really on the street there that you could keep really any car, let alone a van this size. park there for hours on end, which is what we would have needed. And what I would have ideally liked to have in order to have a little home base to go back to, because we were there for 9, 10 hours at a time each day. But we couldn't find a place. All the garages that are downtown are, they're not made for vans at this height, so you can't get into those. So that meant parking away where you saw, where we were looking, and I was considering day parking. But as I was talking to some of the parking lots there, they didn't recommend just leaving your car there for extended periods of time like that because of possible break-ins. So I wasn't willing with a van like this, which is just, going to be begging for, it's so big in the parking lot. And if I was going to stay in the van during that time, it's different. People know you're in the van. They can see you are inside the van, etc. But if it's just sitting there, you got to make these decisions. So I decided not to do it. And so, yeah, I couldn't make all the requirements work. Now, that's not to say, if circumstances were different, I would definitely have had the van in the city the whole day. If we were going in and out of the van and it was close enough nearby that it could act as a home base, I would have no problem parking it along any of those locations that I showed you. But that wasn't my situation this time. That the location that I was going to be at was far enough away from the van that I would not be going back and forth to the van, as a home base. It would just be sitting there most of the day, empty by itself, and I just was not willing to. I was not willing to do that. Now I did find a parking lot, an outdoor parking lot that was fenced, and I'm going to definitely put that in my book for later, which meant and it was attended. So during the day, I could have felt very comfortable leaving the van there, and even at night, leaving the van overnight there, no problem, because they have gates and they close the gate, and the van would have been perfectly safe there. But it was right across the street from Jilleo's house, so there was no advantage to having the van stay there. If I was going to do that, I mean, why even take the risk? Why even have the van there? I could walk across the street and be in Jilleo's house. So ultimately, all the situation just presented itself in a way that we ended up not having the van in the city. So here we are in this beautiful location, which I'm perfectly happy with. And that happens, that happens. You have to just rely on your gut. And I relied on my gut, and I made the decision. I think it was the right decision. But I do want to share with you a little bit about how our Jilleo's debut went. So you could join me in the lounge. Then I'll share with you how our 3 days went. Before we go into the lounge, however, I want to show you, we're going to have, instead of tea today, we're going to have a little bit of a sparkly drink. I bought something new for the van I want to show you. So we have a soda stream at home, and this is a portable soda maker. So you can take off the top, a little tiny, let me show you. This is it. This is the little gas cylinder. The tiny version of the one you'd normally find on a soda stream. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is you fill this up with your water, preferably cold. Put this on the top. Your little canister on the lid here. It's magnetic. You just put it in. See, it doesn't come out. And then when this is filled up with water, you put this on. And I'll show you. I'm not going to do it now. It's empty. But you turn it, and simply by turning it that one last little turn, it'll start the carbonation. The gas will shoot down this aluminum tube, and it'll inject the carbonation into the water. And then you have nice carbonated water. You can add your flavoring and everything else. So we're going to have that today with, as I show you and share a little bit of what our weekend looked like in San Francisco for Jilleo's debut. The other thing that Jilleo gave me for the van, look at these cute little things. These are, you see these okay? These are little just canisters. They have screw-on lids. They're rubber up here on the lid. Okay. And so you can put your milk or other things in here. There's a little spout at the top, just like a milk carton that you can pour it out. It also comes with these straws. So if you want to put the straw through there and just use it individually, you can. But we plan on just putting, for instance, our creamers and things like our Chobani cream. And what I like about these is, look at this. They fit perfectly. I have a little bit of a problem sometimes with the store-bought cartons that you get. They just are just a little bit tight in here. But look at these. These fit absolutely perfect. And don't they look great in there? They look fantastic. We're going to put that in there. There we go. All right, let's make our soda. A little different than our usual tea time, but it's becoming summertime. So I think maybe in the winter and fall, we'll do tea time. And then in the summertime, we'll do maybe bubbly. How's that sound? Cheers. Ah, so refreshing. I like this little thing. I'll put a link for it for you. Okay, let me show you. I'm just going to show you here on my iPad. Just a few little pictures and things just to share with you. So come take a look. This is the night that we're arriving. So it's 10 o'clock at night and we are setting up at the Filipino consulate. It's a beautiful building. As I say, it's right in Union Square. So great setting. But look how gorgeous this building is. The Filipino government actually owns the building. And so the security guard here is letting us in. We're just setting it up for the first time. So we've never been here before. These are all going to be the vendor tables. You're going to see they're going to change it all. Everyone's going to get all set up. These are the organizers there. And they're so nice. Everyone was so nice. There's the name. They were so friendly and so helpful. And it was our first time doing this. So they just held our hand the whole way, the whole time. Really nice group of people. These women are some of the organizers. And here we are. It was just a little table, but it worked out perfectly. We could carry everything in with just a couple bags, and we had a whole little theme going for regions. So remember when we were in the last video, Hot Pot, we were at Cost Plus World Market. This is why we were there. We were buying all of our little display stuff for the table. And this is what it looked like when it was all set up. There it is. So that's the final setup there. Jilleo's just making sure he can take credit cards and things like that. And this is, I'm so glad I captured this. This is Jilleo's first ever sale. So we immortalized it here. And this was the first, we sold out, by the way. So by the end of the show, we had sold through all of the inventory we had brought. And in fact, we were packing up the table and we still had customers that were trying to buy from us. So we had to sell these display samples that were actually out front. So all in all, it was a great show. We can't complain. And this is Jilleo with his best friend Glenn, who came to help us. Glenn was wonderful. He was there the whole weekend, all 3 days, going to get coffees for Jilleo and I, and food, and just all, and helping to man the booth, and it was just all around. It was just such a great experience. Yeah, so overall, a really fine weekend in the van. I hope you found it useful, just showing how the van, you know, can be used in everyday situations. That's what I'm really trying to share with you. Is some people want to just see the van in normal use, not necessarily on a long road trip, which I love to do as well. Don't get me wrong, I love to do long road trips, but I love just in general being in the van like we are today, just parked here on the side of the road, beautiful setting, enjoying some nice bubbly water. You feel cozy and content. So I like to just show and share with you how we use the van. We showed that last week with the episode Hot Pot and sending my daughter off to Washington, D.C. And this week, while it's, we didn't get to completely use it in every way that I wanted to, that's okay. That happens sometimes too. And we just have to be adaptable, right? Just adapt to it. But, it still came in very handy. I'm in it now, sharing with you. I used it to scout out locations there, learned a lot about where I can park and where maybe I can't park. So that's all useful as well. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always nice to have you along. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Bye.